Kia ora koutou, Markie here by flickering candlelight to bring you my 5 top alternative Christmas songs. What do I mean by alternative? I don't like the term alternative music. I used to listen to music, well, I still do listen to music, that used to come under the bracket of alternative music, and it's a term like alternative comedy that I never really liked. It's like kind of music is music, and comedy is comedy, and music is you either like it or you don't, and comedy is either funny or it's not. So, yeah, but that's a digression. We're actually, started with a digression quite early in, really, even by my standards. Now, I'm trying to hold the camera the right way around today, which is usually a mistake. So you'll probably see fingers over the camera at some point. So, Markie, what are you talking about? Let's start this video at the beginning in a proper way. So, kia ora koutou. It being Christmas coming up soon, I was moved to do something Christmassy, which is very unusual because I'm kind of a bit of a Grinch. So I used to live in the Northern Hemisphere, now I live in the Southern Hemisphere, and Christmas is just meaningless to me down here because it's just it's sunny Christmas. It's no. But, they're playing Christmas music and it got me thinking. And I thought, why don't I do like a top Christmas songs thing? Okay, so I started to look at this. Excuse me, and it got really hard actually. So I started to think, well, I do my top 10 Christmas songs, something like that. And it was really hard to try and get them into top 10. And then it was things like, well, what do I include? Well, what is a Christmas song? How do you define a Christmas song? And what about carols? Are carols Christmas songs, or are we talking about just the stuff that they play on the radio? And so it all got very hard. And then I started to think, what about rock Christmas songs? So I had some ideas around that as well. And then eventually I thought, because my favourite one would have been excluded if we went for rock Christmas songs. So in the end I thought, okay, let's go for kind of Markie's alternative Christmas songs. So these Christmas songs, mainly that you would not have heard of. So it's something that you can go and look up. You can check them, and these will all be, if you look for these on YouTube, you'll find them, I'm sure. Or you'll find them, you will find them on YouTube. So without further preamble, note that I didn't say without further ado, because I really dislike that phrase, and I've done a video on that, so check that one out. So at number 5, so the top of candlelight, I've got a list here and I can't see. It's all going really well here, isn't it? So at number 5, this is probably the most alternative one on the list, and again, just alternative as in different to the mainstream Christmas songs that you would have no doubt be hearing at the moment. And this is it really a Christmas song? It kind of it's stretching it a little bit, but I wanted to include it. It's a song called December by a fantastic band called All About Eve that I rave about, and I've done lots of videos about All About Eve, as their lyrics are fantastic. So I've got a series called Psych Songs, where I look at song lyrics where they express either something about a mental health condition or just something about the human condition. So the song December is really sad, but it's very haunting, very whimsical. It's kind of an expression of kind of loneliness, all kinds of non-Christmassy things, really. But it does have, there are Christmas tropes or references to Christmassy things in it. But it's a very different, it's a sad song, really. It's not kind of, that's why it's alternative, really, more because of the mood, I guess, a bit than anything else. So it's really about nostalgia for it's about, the sense of being alone, and nostalgia for a relationship, kind of missing someone, kind of feeling like you might want to kind of contact a partner from the past. That it's probably really not a good idea, but starting to kind of feel some yearnings. It's a very sentimental song, and it's a beautiful song. You know, it's a really lovely song, but it is sad. So December by All About Eve. Do check that one out. So I'm seriously recommending you look these up. I'm not just talking about these for the good of my health. You know, I want you to look them up so that you'll have at your disposal a list of different Christmas songs. Perhaps different's a better word than alternative. So at number 4, okay, so this is a song by Jethro Tull. And I know what you're thinking, but you're wrong. You are wrong. Okay, you're on the wrong track. It is not Solstice Bells, although I don't mind Solstice Bells. It's not my favourite Jethro Tull song, but it's not a bad song. Solstice Bells, I wouldn't, knock Solstice Bells, but there are far better Jethro Tull songs. So at number 4 is Another Christmas Song. This is the title, Another Christmas Song by Jethro Tull. Okay, and it's a nice song. You know, it's not a sad one. It's kind of quite a kind of a heartwarming kind of song. And it kind of tends to focus. It talks about kind of really about reconnecting with family and friends. And there's almost kind of like there's a character in the song. Is this old man that they talk about that's just really enjoying reconnecting with family really. And there's a really lovely line in there. Old man is asleep now. Got appointments to keep now. So Another Christmas Song. So why is it called Another Christmas Song? Okay, well, it's called Another Christmas Song because Jethro Tull released a song called Christmas Song, which is a fantastic song. So that is number 3. Okay, Christmas Song by Jethro Tull, imaginatively titled Christmas. In fact, Jethro Tull did a Christmas album. So Christmas Song by Jethro Tull. Don't know why I put my glasses on there. I wasn't going to look at anything. It's got a moralistic kind of song actually, and Ian Anderson, when he introduces this on stage, kind of actually talks about how Christmas is a time for reflection and not a time for. I think the analogy he uses is sex with farm animals. So I'll get this video censored when it's saying that. So it's not about what the point he's making is it's a song kind of challenging the materialism of Christmas versus Christmas being about connecting with people and looking after people and that kind of thing. And in a rather lovely way, this song begins with part of the carol Once in Royal David City, and then there's this beautiful bit of quite simple but really nice acoustic guitar, and then leads you into this song, Christmas Song by Jethro Tull. So yeah, look that one up. Have a listen to that. So now I do need to put my glasses on. Okay, now the number 2. Now I meant to research this song. Find out a bit more about it before I did the video, which I should have done. So this is a song that I first became aware of. Do you remember, for those of you who are a little bit older, I remember when, people would kind of record stuff onto a cassette for you as a little gift, and they'd give it to you. Often it was a kind of a kindness, but more often than not, it was a kind of an attempt to convert you into somebody else's musical taste. There's usually a kind of a bit of an agenda behind it. It's like, this is the stuff you should be listening to, rather than the rubbish you listen to, Markie. Have a listen to this. So somebody recorded 2 sides of a C90. There's a nostalgia fest for those of you of the same age group as me. But they didn't actually clearly write who the artist was. Although some of it was, I think it was something like Reg and Eileen Pratt or something. It was folk music. And funnily enough, I've recognised the key voices of some of the singers in this in other things, but I still can't identify them. So, and this mixtape or this compilation tape is long since gone, but it had some great stuff on it. And one of the ones on there was Patapan. Now, Patapan, I understand, this is what I should have looked up. I think it's basically a very old carol. And I think it's medieval, but I don't know. But it's got a really lovely kind of medieval kind of sound to it. Okay, and I think that the artists that I first listened to for this song it was something like Reg or Eileen Pratt. I think it's something along those lines. If anyone knows, please tell me. I'd love to try and get hold of it again, because I've not been able to find this stuff on online. So Patapan, yeah, certainly sounds medieval. Whether it is or not, I don't know. I think it's certainly very old. It's a very old carol. Now there is a version of it by a guy that I kind of know, or I've kind of met and had a bit of correspondence with, a guy called Dave the Bard. Now you probably think he's called Damn the Bard, because he's a folk musician, who's part of the Druid world, and the Celtic world, and in I'm not sure which language. I think it's actually Irish Gaelic. The way that you would write the word Dave is DAHM. So it's actually pronounced Darv, I believe. This is from talking to him, the man himself. So it's Dave the Bard, or Darv the Bard, but Dave the Bard is kind of really what he's trying to kind of say. Not damn the Bard, as in damn that, like Getafix from the Asterix cartoons. So he's done a version of it, which is very good as well. So look that one up. So DAHM the Bard. He's done some brilliant stuff. If you like folk and if you like kind of Celtic stuff, he's done a lot of really good stuff on mythological themes. So he's taken a lot of the so I haven't listened extensively to his stuff. I used to have one of his CDs, and he brought to life a lot of Welsh legends, sort of stuff from the Mabinogion. In this particular album, which was really good. But yeah, Patapan, check that one out from him. Now, number one. So in a way, this is the least alternative, because I believe this was a Christmas number one in the UK, and it is the only, but I believe the only song that ever reached the top 10, the pop charts, that was entirely in Latin. So I wonder if you already guessed what this is. So this is Gaudete by Steel Iceman. Okay. So Steel Iceman, folk rock group, headed up by Maddie Pryor. He's got an amazing voice. And Gaudete, again, is another old carol. I don't know quite how old it is. And it's quite... I mean, they're a folk rock band, but it's probably more classical than folk. Certainly, it's kind of classical kind of style singing, really, and not an easy one to sing. It's not one to attempt. After you've been drinking the Advocaat or what have you, it's got some really high notes in it, very, very challenging. But Maddie Pryor just does it beautifully, and not just her, because it's a lot of harmonies with the rest of the band, all singing harmonies. So Gaudete, and all in Latin, and it's a really lovely kind of magical song. So yeah, so they are. That's my 5 alternative favourite Christmas songs. Now, I'm going to share with you a few honourable mentions, not for this list, but for the previous iterations of this video that I was going to do. So I'm going to briefly sort of share some of my other favourite Christmas songs, which didn't meet any of the kind of categories, really, or didn't fit with that. So, Merry Christmas by the Waitresses. So this... This song it's kind of got a kind of pop punk vibe. I really quite like pop punk. I don't really like pop, but a bit of pop, where pop meets punk. Just that cusp of the two things. So the Waitress is Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and it's got these really great riffs, da 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 da, and then it's got a bit of sax in it and stuff like that. So, and it's got millions and millions and millions of verses. It goes on forever, but I love the way they sing it. So it's kind of got this pop punk female vocals. Waitresses, you'll know it because they do play it quite a lot, but you might not recognise who it is. I had to look it up sort of back and I thought, oh yeah, I like that song. So who else have I got on this list? yeah, I had to really, to be true to myself, I had to have Merry Christmas Everybody by Slade. Not that it's really a particular favourite song in itself, but I'm a Slade fan. Now, there aren't many Slade fans around. So I kind of, a lot of music I listen to, although I like classical and I like folk, I do listen to a lot of rock and metal. And when I was young and I was getting into heavy rock, I kind of picked up, and all my mates at the time, we all kind of got into Black Sabbath and, and Deep Purple and, all the kind of classic kind of metal. And then, and at the same time, because we were of that generation, the new wave of British heavy metal, so we got into, Iron Maiden, and then things like Metallica started to happen around us, so we got into all of that. But we were all into Slade. We all kind of just picked up on Slade. I had older brothers that followed Slade, and actually one of my earliest memories, which is, and I would have been 3 at the oldest, because we moved from one house to another when I was 3. It's of actually dancing to "Come On, Feel the Noise." I can remember singing and dancing to that song. So Slade, this is the thing. I mean, the real epic of Slade, which everybody forgets, is a song called "We'll Bring the House Down," which is actually a kind of metal anthem. It's a very heavy song. People kind of tend to think of Slade as like, cheesy glam rock, big grins and tall hats and platform boots, and they were all of that, but they were also, excellent songwriters, and they really rocked. So for me, as I was growing up, listening to like I say, Black Sabbath and AC/DC, and and Iron Maiden, I was, listening to Slade and kind of seeing it all as the same thing, really. To me, it was all kind of, it was all heavy rock as far as we were concerned. So I have a big loyalty to Slade. I don't listen to them, so much these days, but they've done something, and they had something like 6 number ones. Their songwriting was top notch. And I think, in a way, although I'm going to put give a Merry Christmas Everybody an honourable mention, in a way I think it was the death of Slade as well, because they no longer were taken seriously after that song. Even they themselves play too much on that song. I went to see Slade in concert, and they played that song when it wasn't Christmas. And they did it with great humour and campness, but yeah, at the same time. But I have to kind of include it as a mention. Now, were there any others? So there's other stuff I like. I mean, I like John Lennon. Merry Christmas, War Is Over. I'm going to give a little mention to Boney M. I don't even know, for the minute my mind's gone black. I can't think what it was called. Mary's Boy Child, yeah. Just because I love Boney M. Having said that, I'm big on rock and metal. I do. My guilty secret musically is Boney M. I think, and they're fascinating. I might even do a video on Boney M, because they're just there's loads of stuff you don't know about Boney M that would really surprise you. So I will leave it there, but I'm going to come back and share with you my 3 least favourite Christmas songs, and we'll talk some more about those, and maybe do some honourable mentions there as well. And I could talk about carols. There's lots of carols that I like. So just briefly, I'll kind of reference another video that I've done. So the carol "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," I discovered by accident one day, probably when I was just kind of randomly sort of stimming and singing and talking to myself, that William Blake's poem "The Tiger" scans perfectly to "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." So that's a video so if you want to hear me sing or attempt to sing William Blake's poem "The Tiger" to the tune of "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," that's another video that you can watch over Christmas. I'll put the link to it down below. I may not have sold you on that one. So I will be back. I've got some more. I've got some more stuff in the wings. I've got something very exciting to hopefully share with you soon. I need to just check it's okay to put this out on YouTube with for various reasons. All sounds very mysterious, doesn't it? But I've got something very exciting to share with you soon. And also I want to do RJ related songs as a video, because I've been looking and collecting retroactive jealousy related songs. So that's another one that I'm hoping to put out soon. We've got some more meditative sea and sky stuff, which seems to be kind of popular with people. So much as I won't really be celebrating Christmas here in the Southern Hemisphere, I wish you a merry one. Especially people in the Northern Hemisphere where it's all proper. But to everyone, really, Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas and you celebrate other things, then you know, whatever it is that you celebrate, and you know, if you whether you have a faith, and there's a kind of a religious or spiritual meaning to Christmas, or whether it's just, you know, fun time of year, I don't care. You know, I'm all for everybody being true to themselves. I just hope you have a good time, and I'll be back again soon. Oh, there we go. I said I'd put my hand in front of the camera, and I have. On that note, Rangi Marie, Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching.